fuck is this wrong? But holy hell, is it erotic?
Hello, everybody. Today we have me and Digi-née.
Just like every day.
Except Wednesdays.
This truly has become the old show because one of us, in this case me, pushed it off and said, I don't feel like doing it tonight when the time came. And that's usually how the old show went.
Oh, man. Here's the thing. Man, I didn't think we were going to get to episode 3. I thought it was going to crash and burn and stuff. But you know what? For whatever reason, it's just going. Well, and a lot of people like it.
You said that people liked episode 2, so I was like, well, if the people like it, we got to give them what they want.
We're the women of the people.
Yeah, exactly. So, you were trying to kill yourself this week, right? As we do.
Yes, we're going to go into our slow motion suicide, but I have an idea for it though.
Yeah. Okay.
What's it called? I in a brand new segment, you know, we will just go and play like 2 seconds of Numb every time before and after we do the slow motion suicide. It's a brand new idea. I don't think it's been tried.
No one's ever done this in history. You know, it really truly comes full circle because lately I've been obsessed with Chester Bennington and his suicide. So, you know, whereas before I was like, wow, Chester killed himself. That sucks. Let's put his song in our show because it'll be funny. Now I'm like, wow, Chester killed himself. That fucking sucks. Let's definitely put his song in our show.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why it sucks. I mean, I thought you wanted to kill yourself.
Well, not like that, you know. I want to kill myself by way of someone else, most ideally. Yeah, like if you can create like a Rube Goldberg machine of suicide, you know, like a domino effect where I just set all these people and stuff in place, like, you know, just preparing for this ultimate death that none of them know they're participating in. Nobody knows the scheme that I've put them all into, the grand manipulation. But one day when the last domino falls on my head and crushes it, you'll all know.
I, too, have heard of Monster.
Oh, I did not know that was the plot of Monster, but...
Have you not watched it?
No, I have not. I have not seen one. I have only seen the first 3 episodes.
I haven't watched it either. I've just heard. I just watched. I think it was Alexander's video on Monster. All right. So yeah, let's get into the slow motion suicide today. Have you been trying to kill yourself this week?
Yeah, I've been doing probably this might be actually the closest I've come. Because I've been trying to be sober. I've stopped.
What's this sober?
Okay, let me restate that because I don't consider being drunk to be not sober. Like, drinking alcohol is just a fun thing you do.
Yes, but as everyone does.
But I've been addicted to marijuana for a few years. And I've tried to develop a relationship with it that doesn't cost me like $600 a week, but I haven't been able to. So until I can find a relationship with weed that costs not literally $600 a week, but we'll say like $450 a week. If we're
that's still a lot.
I know. That's exactly why I had to stop. But you know, it's like the most miserable, like being not high is like, it's really hard to even think of as life. So yeah, I would say that it feels similar to just having already killed myself, but I'm in this weird limbo. So it's like, I guess I'm having suicide dysmorphia. Like I feel dead on the inside, but I'm alive on the outside, you know? I'm like a trans dead person, basically.
So a normal trans person.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, that is intense.
Yeah.
You know, Digi, I had like a few slow motion suicide moments, this week.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the one that takes the cake is Europeans.
Okay. Europeans are your slow motion suicide. The entire continent.
Yes, the entire continent consists of this one person that after arguing with them for about 5 hours over completely retarded shit. Some of it was talked about if a bug in Nichijou would it be believable if they want to take over the world. And I was like, yeah, it's believable. And it just turned out we have completely different definitions of believable. We have different definitions of almost every single thing imaginable. So, and it all started off with just a criticism and saying, I don't think Tanya the Evil is, a critique of capitalism and fascism. If anything, it would be closer to a critique of socialism, but I still don't believe it is.
Mm. And this spiraled into talking about whether a bug wanting to take over the world in Nichijou would be believable.
Yes. But let's not forget, it also spiraled into a whole bunch of other stuff, and it got to the point of talking about one of my videos, mm-hmm. and how I put a clarification at the end of a certain argument that was only about 10 or 15 seconds at most, mm-hmm. and said if I put the clarification at the beginning, it would have made sense and wouldn't confuse people and wouldn't go and destroy my points. But because I put it at the end, it does all this.
Mm-hmm. In other words, because of the fact that this person was embarrassed that they were wrong throughout the video, and then when the subversion happened, then they didn't want to admit that they had been wrong. And so that cognitive dissonance caused them to completely flip shit and go ape.
I don't even know, because... No, because here's the thing, because they even bring up, before I even mention that there's a clarification, that I have a clarification at the end. So they even know it at the end that it's there, but they're going to say it's objectively wrong to have it at the end instead of at the beginning, when it's only a 15-second point.
I mean, as soon as they start saying something's objectively wrong, they've already lost. Like, the second someone brings that in, it's like conversation's over. You've already failed.
Oh, man.
Well,
the reason objectively got brought in was I said, this sounds like the most arbitrary criticism I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And then he was talking about how it is like, and well, no, it actually destroys your point, and it's just completely wrong. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah. And it's like, well, it's like, are you saying it's like wrong to you, or are you saying it's wrong objectively? And I think he was just pressing my buttons by saying, yes, it's objectively wrong. And then it's like, all right, now explain how it's objectively wrong. Mm-hmm. And then I just kept bringing up how I was like, that's entirely subjective.
Yeah.
But it just kept going into these circles. And it's like, you know what? By the end of all this,
you wanted to kill yourself.
Was it worth it? I wanted to, yes. I had my throat. It fucking hurts right now because I just finished it and came to this podcast. My throat fucking hurts. My brain is fucking fried. And I just want to fucking kill myself. And it's all because of Europeans. Not just that one, but all Europeans in general.
Yeah.
Now, I'm starting to think what Hitler did was wrong because he's also European.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the culture of Europe is what produced this person. So, you know, it's like you can never truly blame one
every
person
single
for their
European.
actions. Like, we are all the product of, of nurture and nature. And, like, the nature of Europeans is that they're nurtured into people like this. And that makes you want to kill yourself.
Every single European I have met has argued just like this. It's only been Europeans it's never been any other culture, specifically just Europeans, that I've ever heard argue like this.
Yeah.
Hashtag all
they're
Europeans.
right
Every
wankers.
single one of them.
Right wankers, the whole lot of them, if I might say so myself. What are we going to argue about on today's episode of
I'm not done with Europeans.
an intolerable threaded Twitter argument, the podcast? Had to remember.
Oh, no, Digi.
Oh, boy. Are we changing
There's
the
a
name?
reason. There's a reason I didn't introduce the name.
Okay. Let's hear about
So,
it. I forgot
let's
there's
go
something
to-
else we have to do before we bring up today's topics.
Yeah.
I had completely forgotten, by the way, that this show was a style parody of The Biggest Problem in the Universe. Like, people were bringing that up to me. Oh, yeah, it's one of the best, like, parodies of that show. And I was like, oh, yeah, it is. Like, it is structurally based on that. I completely forgot. It's been so long. Anyway.
All right.
Who lost? Who won?
So, let's go through one at a time. The question was, what should the podcast name be? And this is why I didn't introduce the podcast name. Do you remember what you said?
I don't.
You said the name of the podcast should be Fuck Butt Fuck Butt.
Oh, that makes perfect sense coming from me.
You were saying how this podcast was, or not this podcast, this channel was so evil and wrong and everything, so hateful, that it needs to get taken down. I don't know how you thought people were going to vote for that. It's like, well, this means now people don't have this.
If I had a podcast, I would call it Fuck Butt, Fuck Butt.
But no, I win. I actually put 4 choices.
Oh, okay.
I put our two, both of ours, and I was going to see if we could lose.
Okay.
And no, even if you add all 3 of the other choices up, I still win.
Okay, well, what's the title now?
The TransTrenders podcast.
Oh, boy. Great.
So welcome to the
get-
TransTrenders podcast.
That's never going to get me in any trouble with anybody being on a podcast called the TransTrenders podcast. I'm sure that this will only lead to good things in my life, and I'll have no additional controversy on top of what already exists.
Oh, I love it. Because if you add, I won with 20 votes. You add all the other ones up, and it would be 15.
Amazing.
So, the next one with 9 votes is Insufferable Social Media Arguments.
Yeah.
The next one is Intolerable Threaded Twitter Conversations, and the last one with 2 votes is Fuck Butt Fuck Butt.
Damn. Well, you know what? Those were probably Fuck Butt and Fuck Butt who made those 2 votes.
Probably. All right, Digi, you lost 1.
Well,
Let's see how it is.
Did I win any of the other guys?
We'll see. Is Trump removing the LGBT protection good or bad?
I don't remember what my stance was.
Perfect. So, Digi, what you said was no, because LGBT needs double protection like a condom.
That was my argument?
Yes.
I remember you bringing up the condom thing.
I said like a condom, and then, what's it called? You said, yes, put that.
Okay. What the fuck was
And
I guess I was high on drugs. That's probably why I don't remember. I
You
mean, I
were-
would remember
okay,
if I was still high on
What your
drugs.
stance, I'll explain it real fast. What your stance was, removing protections was bad, and you need double protections
Okay. What was
for
your
LGBT.
stance?
And that's why I said double protections like a condom.
Yeah.
And you're like, yes, put that. I said, yes, because now we know which companies are transphobic and to be boycotted.
That sounds like a legitimate answer. Who won?
I won with yes.
Somehow that doesn't surprise me in this case.
The next one. Is CNN putting up a wall racist? You said, yes, CNN's fence is racist because it has a stereotypical depiction of a black fence.
Okay, yeah, that sounds
I said
like a winning argument.
Yeah. I said no, because CNN's wall is to keep journalists in, just like communist China, and Nino's a simp.
I feel like Nino getting thrown in there is going to give you some unfair advantage with people who just want to shit on Nino.
Are we going to test this out? Are all your answers going to be about Nino?
I guess we'll find out. Who won? I'm guessing you won from the amount of laughter.
The funniest thing is, if we did the podcast on the day that we planned, you were actually winning.
Damn.
And now you lost.
Fuck.
Yep.
Well,
so I win.
I did it to myself.
No, because CNN wall is to keep journalists in, just like communist China, and Nino's a simp, with 14 votes versus 11.
Shit, it really turned around in the last 2 days. Were you bussing in voters?
No. The perfect amount to drink. Do you remember?
I do not. I think I said 3 beers, right? Did I do the Dick Masterson 3 beers?
Yes, you said 3 beers and 1 per hour for as long as you want to keep the fun going.
Yeah.
I put 20 shots because I can't feel anything under that.
I get the feeling you won that one, too.
I put a third option just in case. We both lost.
Okay, what was the third
It says, I'm not a fucking alcoholic, you degenerate weebs.
Wait, that's the one that won? Less of our audience is alcoholics than that does not add up.
With
y'all
16
are fucking
votes.
lying.
It's 16 votes out of 23 total. That is 70% of the votes are saying they're not alcoholics.
Yeah, that's exactly what an alcoholic would say.
I got the next amount of the votes. 5. It's just 5 for 20 shots. And then you got 2 votes for 3 beers.
Nobody's tried out the 3 beers method because apparently they're not alcoholics, which is shocking. Why are you even listen? How can you listen to a show like this without being drunk to the point of blackout? Like,
because Black Lives Matter might raid them. They would call it blackface.
What are we going to be arguing?
We're not done.
Today? We're not done. How many things did we argue about last week?
We argued about a shit ton because it wouldn't get to an hour. What is your opinion on Chaz Slop Chopped? You said Chaz was good because those people were heroes.
What did you say?
Too drunk for an argument? Listen to my drunk rant and believe.
You were too drunk for an argument, so...
Listen to my drunk rant and believe.
Who won?
I won again.
Oh my god. I need better answers this time. I don't know what was going on that show.
Oh man, the reason I put that in is because if you heard me at the very end of the Chaz Slap Chop debate, I was saying all these stances of what my argument is, and you were like, what? And then I made stance, and I was like, no, that's not my stance. And then made a completely contradictory stance, and I was like, no, that's not my stance. And then made a third stance that somehow contradicts both of them. And then it was like, I was listening, I was like, what the fuck? How drunk was I?
Well, we know how drunk you were. 20 shots, at least.
It was 20 shots at the beginning, but before that, I drank about 10. Before I got into it. So 30 shots total, but there was like an hour between, so maybe it was like, I don't know, 20 something, I don't fucking know. But it was a little bit in there. So it was me just not being I was not even comprehensible, and they voted.
So is that
all right?
Was that all of them?
Next.
Oh my god.
Was the last 2 things, is Digi-née based or spaced?
Definitely spaced.
Yeah, 13 votes for spaced and 10 votes for based. The Unknown Otaku, based or spaced? I also got spaced.
We were
13 votes.
We were
for
definitely
states.
pretty fucking spaced on the last episode. I would have to say, judging by the answers we gave to those questions. Are we ready to start arguing then? Because Twitter got outed for shadow banning and blacklisting people for having. If anybody didn't see that, there was this.
You're just really trying to get rid of the Boozer Loser. I just realized
what do I have to do as the Boozer Loser?
All right.
I've got my Modelo.
Now, I did have something planned for you to just read out and everything for punishment for trying to get my channel taken down. But because I promised at the end, if Digibro lost these arguments, then we're going to see Digibro try to drink somewhere near the amount I drank.
Oh, there's no way I could do that. I would literally die.
What about at least half? Do you have like 10 shots?
If I did 3 shots, I wouldn't be able to continue this show. Like, I would be literally incapable of doing it. Like,
see how you are by the end. All right, try 2 shots. We'll let you go down to 2.
All right, I'll pretend to do 2 shots right now.
Pretend.
Oh fuck! Bombay Sapphire East. Goes down pretty. All right, I'll do the second one.
What the fuck was that?
Good shots. Good gin.
Nice.
Fuck.
Man.
Ooh, shows a lot of burps.
I mean, once we start getting at 300 votes on our little things, you know, the fucking voting shits, there will be a new segment, a little thing introduced as a little bit of a celebration. I'll keep that a secret if anyone's a fan of the old ISMA.
Oh boy. All right.
And today,
all right,
let's just get to the topic.
Let's talk about it. Twitter got busted because somebody leaked screenshots of the way that the Twitter backroom works, which is where underneath people's accounts and tweets, you can see a list of the different things that Twitter has done to your account, such as shadow banning or blacklisting you or just doing various things to people's accounts that there's no way of you knowing that they're doing. So I have to know.
That sounds great. You
think this is a good thing? Okay.
Yes.
Tell me why you think it's so good that Twitter is shadow banning people.
Okay, so I went and tried to go get some stats on this and everything. Did you know that black people are a minority?
In America?
The whole entire world.
I guess, yeah. I guess in that case, everybody except for Chinese people are a minority, right?
No, because white people are clearly in power, thus they're a majority.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how that works. Just like how women are a minority, even though there's a majority women.
So you're saying that no matter where a white person goes in the world, they will always be in power?
That's how whiteness works.
That's crazy. Because, like, people kept telling me...
If you're white, then you're always in power.
People kept telling me that if I, like, went to the ghetto and shouted the N-word, I would get shot. But if I'm in power in all situations, then surely nobody could, like, do anything to me because I'm in power in that situation.
No, they will literally just hold their gun sideways while the other hand is holding up their pants, and they will keep missing. Haven't you ever seen the Boondocks, the real-life documentary?
So you think what does the minority of black people have to do with Twitter's shadow banning?
All right. Now, shadow banning is making you in a section of a kind of group away from other people.
Mm-hmm.
This sounds nothing but good because here's the reason. Black people, there's very little of them. and they have no way of really finding one another. Because that's how minorities work. So they need to go on Twitter and be shadow banned or blacklisted. You know what that is? Blacklisting is the act of putting them into some little group and everything. And so this is just Twitter's version of blackpeoplemeet.com.
Okay. So everybody who's shadow banned is in the same group of shadow banned people is what you're saying. So it's creating a micro community. Can they actually see each other though? Because I'm under the impression
that's literally what the blacklist is. It's this list of black people, and everyone can see it and go down the list and it's like, oh, hey, I'm going to go meet this black person.
So we're listing blacks. Is
it's
what you're
literally
saying.
Yes, this is literally what blacklisting is. Twitter is just the social media equivalent of blackpeoplemeet.com, just like the bus schedule is the physical version of blackpeoplemeet.com.
Well, I'm going to tell you why this is a bad thing. Because because if you are a minority or somebody with subversive opinions not shared by the majority, then you don't want to be on a list. You want to be unseen, incognito, because when they put you on a list and that list is out in the public, then that means that everybody can see that you were put there, and that means that they know that you're a minority or that you have a divergent stance. So it makes it easier for them to corral you into the death camps.
Okay. Here's the thing. Digi? Now, besides for him being European, Hitler also had a list. Are you going to say he was wrong?
Yeah. He had a list because he was checking it twice. And he thought he knew who was naughty or nice, but his list was the Jew list. And the funny thing about having that list...
I think you mean the white list.
Yes. The funny thing about having a white list is that, you can gather all these people together and kill them or whatever. But, if you just kill them, do they really suffer?
They'll grow back.
Yeah, they'll grow back. It's like you have to just constantly put them down. You have to have them under some kind of slavery, something like that, right? So it's if you just make a list of people you want dead.
Wait, but black people were slaves. And if you need to control them, you got to put them in a list. So, we need to control the black population. So, are you saying slavery is now bad?
Yes.
Remember, slavery was a choice. Kanye West said that.
That is true. Slavery in 2020. Well, that's the thing. Slavery is supposed to be a choice, but Twitter is making it not a choice by putting people on a blacklist. If you're on the list, it's so easy to be gathered and made into a slave, they just want us all to be easy to get. And it's nah, man, I'm supposed to be able to choose whether or not I want to be a slave, not this fucking blacklist bullshit.
Now, I understand your free will argument and everything like that, but, let's look at the positives of slavery. Now, when it comes down to it, you get a roof above your head, you're well-fed.
That's not guaranteed. That is not guaranteed.
It's always guaranteed.
Every
single time.
Part.
Yes, it is. These companies that owned slaves, they always kept their people well-fed, specifically because they were trying to feed them exactly what they need to be as strong as they could be to do the most efficient amount of work possible for their money.
But isn't that exactly why they were able to overthrow their masters and escape? Sounds like they weren't doing the most effective slavery.
Yeah, no, because here's the thing. To oversee these black people were other black people.
So, super powered ones, like they injected something in, like Bane.
Yes, these superpowered black people with a horse and shotgun were just on the fields, and they were pretty much promised a good life as a slave, even better than before, if they keep the other slaves in line.
That just sounds like a government job, like any government job.
Yes, because you're always at gunpoint in government jobs.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah. Well, I would have to say, overall, being put on a blacklist, it seems like fun, because it's like, oh shit, they said I'm black. But it's not as fun as it seems when you're when you got the barrel of that shotgun pressed to the back of your head and you're being told to pick a bale of cotton, and you're like, kind of wanted to play Diablo today. Didn't really want to pick cotton. Thought this was my choice.
Okay, this is unbelievable. People wanting to play Diablo in today's age.
Well, see, we have different definitions of believable.
God damn it, you fucking European. Screw you.
All right, so how would you summarize your argument here?
I would say Twitter having a blacklist isn't bad because it's the social media equivalent of blackpeoplemeet.com.
Okay, and my argument is that having a blacklist is bad because slavery is supposed to be a choice.
All right. Now that we talked about some outstanding moral groups as like Twitter. Jack Dorsey, the most moral person in the world, who testified that they weren't doing that stuff under oath. Now let's talk about this. Who is the most immoral? Yeah, who is the most immoral group of them all?
I have an easy answer for this. It's transbians.
All right. Transbians. Oh my god, I love
trans lesbian people.
Lesbians, yes, I know.
Are the most immoral group of them all because they just want fucking all of it. It's like every disadvantage you can have. It's like, oh yeah, well, not only do I look like a man, but I have a problem with that. But also, I want to be it's like you want to be every kind of underprivileged at the same time. Like, I'm a woman, I'm gay, I fucking am in the wrong body. It's just like all the worst things you could have for yourself, It's just like, it just seems like a ploy to me, like a ploy to get the most sympathy. It's just such a...
I don't know. Are you trying to say my life is a ploy?
I'm trying to say that it's a racket. That we're running a racket here, Like, you're sitting there...
You can't rack them. They don't have testicles.
You're sitting there thinking, like, I'm a guy. My life sucks. And then some other guy is like, yeah, well, I'm a girl. And also, I still like chicks, so I'm not even... I mean, like, I am gay, but I'm, like, the cool kind of gay, which is lesbian. So it's like, I don't know. You just get all the brownie points. Like, everything anyone wants you to be.
The kind of lesbian that's always on Pornhub, like, top rated.
Yeah, exactly. The kind of lesbian that appeals to guys, Just like... It seems like if you want to be... It's having your cake and eating it, too, is basically what I'm saying. It's like, yeah,
I mean, that was a trend on social media just a bit ago.
Having your cake and eating it, too?
Yeah. Because everything was cake.
Oh. Big cake energy. So, it's just like, today I was thinking about it and I was like, would people be okay with me calling myself a dyke? And the answer is yes, because as a transbian, no one can tell me what I can or can't say because everyone's confused as shit when they talk to me. And so they're like, oh, fuck, I have no idea how to not offend this person. Let me just apologize for everything. And it's pretty powerful.
I don't know. You say people are confused as shit when talking to you.
Yeah.
But I don't think that stacks up to anything as much as how confused I get when I talk to Europeans. The concept of Europeans are even crazier than that.
What's so immoral about the Europeans?
I wasn't saying that as my argument,
Oh, okay.
but I wanted to say, actually before this, I wanted to make all the arguments relate to Europeans.
We should probably put Europeans as a third neutral option on the poll to see how it competes with
All right.
transbians and your answer.
All right. Well, I'll argue both of them.
Okay.
Now, you say Europeans. No, you say transbians
Yeah.
are the most confusing people in the entire world.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a little bit confusing. You know, they look like they have a male body and sound like they're male and everything and like women. You would assume they're cis, but then you find out that they're not cis. They're part of the LGBT, trans and lesbian, and that suddenly makes them the most oppressed people around.
Yeah.
The only way to get even more oppressed is if they're transracial.
Oh, yeah. Is that your most immoral group of them all?
And here's the thing. That doesn't even compare to Europeans. Because they don't even go and, like, use the same words as you. Like, when you say one thing is believable, they will say, no, this is not believable for a bug wanting to take over the world, because that bug hasn't prescribed any intentions of doing so in a comedy show.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's like, it doesn't matter how it's written. It's like, it inherently is unbelievable that something would want to take over the world.
You know,
Like, when it goes down to it, these people are the most confusing people around. And that, I gotta say, is pretty immoral. Like, when you are intentionally, like, misconstruing everything someone says, that is a pretty decently immoral thing to do. And that is all Europeans.
not to mention spelling color with a U. Color? Fuck off.
Yeah, it's like, not only can they not speak, they clearly can't spell.
No, not for shit.
Goddamn Europeans.
So, wait,
All right,
is your
my
argument...
most-
okay, never mind.
My most immoral group, though, just one above Europeans. Europeans is a close second. But my argument for the most immoral group of them all is the UN.
Oh my god. You might be right. Alright, what's your argument?
So,
I mean,
it's
it's like just a room full of world leaders, right? Like, it doesn't get any more immoral than that, except if you're a transbian. It's like, the only way you could make the UN worse is if, like, you know, just one of them shows up in a dress one day and starts eating pussy. Like, it's the only way it could get more immoral.
like, let's go down the list. Like, they do some great things, like having a pedophile ring where majority of the UN people are convicted pedophiles and everything. And they demand and shame the entire world to donate money to them, or else not is pretty much a hate crime. You hate humans and everything like that. They shame you for, like, just imagine if the UN was a Twitch thought. Like, everyone would be on their ass for begging and forcing people to donate and saying you're terrible people for not donating to a Twitch thought.
Yeah.
And it's like this all thing. And what's it called? Here's another thing. About a little more than half of the people on the UN is still in countries, and some of them even believe this, that you can throw the LGBT people off a roof.
Yeah.
And majority of them don't even decide rights, that they have human rights or anything like that. Like, you know, like all those things would be completely moral, except for one thing. They think it's actually immoral and preach to other people to not do that stuff. In fact, they literally had an entire conference about banning anime because there's such things as lollies.
Oh my god.
It only took a few months later to figure out they had a giant sex ring of underage children.
So really makes you think, doesn't it?
Have
you ever heard someone complain about Lolly and not turn out to be a pedophile?
No, not even one.
Same.
Here's the thing. They kept degrading and everything like that of other people. So this is why I say it's actually immoral. Because they thought it was immoral. They were doing all these things which were clearly moral, but they thought it was immoral. And tried to hold everyone to these standards. So they were purposely trying to go and tell people how to be, but not live up to those standards. And that is the most immoral thing in the world. Because their hypocrisy.
It's a pretty good argument. However, you seem to have forgotten that the United Nations includes people from all over the world, making it a multicultural group. If a group is...
It also includes fucking Europeans.
That is true. But it doesn't include any transbians. And
I'm actually curious about that.
Me too. But, the United Nations is a multicultural group. There's people of all different races in there. So how can a group that is not exclusively white be the most immoral group?
Because the people in power and that have the most sway are white. And here's the thing. I heard this saying that they keep using called diversity is our strength. The only reason those minorities are there is so that they can use them as a shield in frontline combatants for their own prowess. It is their strength. And this is why the UN is still part of the most immoral group of them all.
You make a strong case, but I just think that, you and I, being a couple transbians, having this show...
UN.
Oh, shit. Pretty strong evidence for the immorality of our group, I have to say.
I mean, I guess vote for me if you think the UN... Vote for me if you think the UN is full of pedophiles, and if you think they're not, then vote for...
That's not fair! Vote for me, also if you think the UN is full of pedophiles, and also if you think the American government is full of pedophiles, and...
vote for me if you want money.
What?
I'm not giving it.
I just if you want it. Vote for me if you want pussy. Vote for me if you want.
Money can buy pussy.
Yeah, but
is that going to be an argument? Can money buy pussy?
Yeah, but people only like it when they don't have to pay for it.
You always have to pay.
Not if you're a transbian. That's what makes us so evil. We fucking hook up with chicks and then make them act like the guy and pay for shit for us.
I mean, you gotta pay for your makeup, your dresses, your, like, all these things, like, to even approach them. Yeah. You're still paying. You may not be paying her specifically, but you're still paying.
I guess that's fair.
Indirectly.
I guess that's fair. All right, well, I have to ask you a question. And this is...
Wait, I think we should just seriously have our stances.
Oh, okay. Well, my stance is that transbians are the most immoral group of them all because they just want to have the ultimate underprivileged bingo.
And I think the UN is the most, immoral group of them all because it's full of pedophiles and...
Pretty good argument. I don't think you need much more than that.
And they throw LGBT people off the roof while claiming that's bad.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good argument just on its own.
All right, well, I'm going to ask you a question because obviously we agree about a lot of wrong ways to live your life. So I have to ask you, what is the most ideal way to live your life?
You know, That's a pretty good question. And do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I want you to go first. That's why I asked.
All right, then. The most ideal way to live my life. I had to prepare a speech for this.
Oh, boy.
All right? My name is the Unknown Otaku. I'm 33 years old. Name? Yes.
Amazing.
I'm 33 years old. My house is in the northeast section of the internet, where all the villas are. And I'm not married. I work as an employee for the Kameiyu department stores. And I get home every day at 8 p.m. at the latest. I don't smoke, but I occasionally drink. I'm in bed by 11 p.m. and make sure to get 8 hours of sleep, no matter what. After having a glass of warm milk and doing about 20 minutes of stretches before going to bed, I usually have no problems sleeping until the morning. Just like a baby. I wake up without any fatigue or stress in the morning. I was told there was no issues at my last checkup. I'm trying to explain that I'm a person who wishes to live a very quiet life. I take care not to trouble myself with any enemies, like winning or losing. And that would cause me to lose sleep at night. That's how I deal with society. And I know what it is that brings me happiness. Although, if I were to fight, I would not lose to anyone.
Damn.
Completely original.
Amazing. Beautiful.
Not a reference.
I believe you because I don't get the reference.
It's pretty bizarre.
So that's your ideal life, is a quiet life with a glass of milk and a 20-minute yoga every day?
Yeah, there's that, but every once in a while, I also like going outside. I may not be married, but I have a whole bunch of hands that I like to go on dates with. I usually eat like sandwiches off those hands, and I'll lick the fingers and everything until these hands are no longer good and rotten. I will have to find new ones and just like chop off new people's hands and then incinerate the entire body except for the hand. And it's kind of like my fetish. Like this all came about when I saw the hands of the Mona Lisa.
I understand. Even though I haven't seen what you're referencing, you've gone far enough for me to understand it. What is the most ideal life?
Mm-hmm. What is the most ideal life?
Death.
The most ideal life is not having a life.
Don't gotta deal with shit. Nobody's complaining about the way
I don't know. In
things.
A peaceful, quiet life, you don't have to deal with shit either.
Well, you have to deal with, like, waking up and, like, doing shit. You said something about a job in there. You don't have to work a job when you're dead.
The job gives me purpose.
Being dead, you don't need purpose. Imagine if the one thing that's been stressing you out your whole life, how do I find a sense of purpose? Don't gotta worry about it anymore. Just die. That easy.
Okay, now here's the thing. That is not true. Because when you're a ghost and you're there, what kind of purpose are you going to try? It's like you can't even get a job at that point. And as I know from Karl Marx,
you can possess
you
people
are
and
your job.
Isn't that the whole point?
Oh, so are you trying to say, like, you can't possess people that have souls. And because of this, you can go and possess people that don't have souls.
Yes.
Is that why there's such a
There's a
crime
word for
disparity?
that, but you have to put it in a few parentheses.
Is that why there's such a crime disparity between the races? Because they're being possessed to do crime.
Probably. I mean, If I was a ghost, I would definitely possess someone to do crime.
Yeah. But only people that don't have souls.
Yeah, NPCs.
They're usually too busy singing about soul to have a soul. Just...
I like how we both picked different ethnic groups to suggest had no souls.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, well, that's what I'm going with. The best way to live is death. Or the most ideal life, rather. How would you summarize your entire speech into just one answer?
Well, very first
live like
thing...
the Killer Queen? Is that
Okay, so I will first just try to put the entire speech into it. If it doesn't allow the entire speech, then I will summarize it somewhere along the lines of the most ideal life is dating a bodiless hand and having a peaceful life.
I mean, if you're, I feel like there's at least a few people who are going to be like, that's exactly what I want. And they're going to vote for that. I think everybody else is going to be like, death sounds great.
I don't know. Like, I think there's more people that love hands rather than death.
That's a pretty
maybe
bold
not in my
statement.
audience. Maybe not in my audience, but I think there are in general.
I guess we're going to find out.
I think a lot of people in my audience, and possibly yours, are obsessed with death.
That is, death is hot. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
You ever read The Sandman? She's like the best character. So, who wouldn't want death?
Yeah, The Sandman. Ugh.
You don't like The Sandman?
Does he finish in her and make her Sandy?
He does, in fact, get sand in her vagina.
Oh my god.
Well, we've run through the arguments that you had written down here, but we still have like 10 minutes before we hit an hour. So let's just go ahead and I'll just make something up right now for us to argue about.
Like we did last time.
Yeah.
But we didn't bring attention to it.
So...
Oh, what I was going to say at the end, I was actually going to say this at the beginning.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, let's just get into the arguments. From now on, we will be accepting voice calls. It's a new segment.
Yeah.
We'll have voice call
That's
hour.
That's a great idea. Hour? Like it's a whole second hour of the show?
Okay, maybe not a whole hour, but we'll have like this hour will probably be like 10 minutes. Yeah. It'll feel like an hour. It will definitely feel like one.
Feel like a fucking hour. So, did you hear about that lady who is making 6 figures a month to act like a dog? I think, first of all, I should probably amend my what is the ideal life statement now that I've reminded myself of that. But,
okay, well, hold on. Actually, I forgot to argue a third position for the idea. The most ideal life in all things that I could think of is not having any fucking Europeans on the planet.
Just get, like, how do you... I mean, if we got rid...
Europeans need to be your bleeding.
If we just change the name of Europe, will that solve the problem?
We'll change, to Europe, because we're going to rope all of the Europeans.
So that lady who acts like acts like a dog for money. I guess the question is just simply based or cringe. I think my stance is... Never mind. It's stupid. Obviously, it's based as fuck. Nobody's going to disagree with that. It's fucking
I know.
Fucking based.
I've actually made an argument for this a while back. Like, I had an argument about this a few days ago. All right. I would say it's base as fuck, because here's the thing. Have you ever watched Kaiji?
Yes.
Kaiji the Ultimate Survivor.
Yeah.
Now, you see all the shit that not the main character, but those lackeys go through.
Yeah.
Did you know that when you convert that into American dollars, every year they're making about $160,000?
Pretty good for being a lackey. It's more than I make.
And I was like, what the actual fuck, once I did the math. And that's when I was like, you know what? I think I would do that lackey job for that amount of money. This is the job where you gotta drink like that entire giant picture of alcohol with the president freaking standing in it and all that. It's like, this is the job where you pretty much get demeaned and humiliated constantly every day.
Sounds kinky.
And whatnot. And it's like, that job, it seems bad, because if you don't do it exactly right, you can get demoted and or fired,
or
and you
killed.
never know.
That's the main. When it comes to like gangsters, the main reason not to work with gangsters is they will just kill you.
Yeah, I mean, what's it called? All that shit that just happened.
Yeah, but that lady.
When it comes down to it,
I mean,
the reason I'm bringing this up is because I said this. I would pretty much do that, and maybe even more, for a paycheck like that. Now, I can't see acting like a dog being worse than that, but they're getting paid just a bit less.
Well, they're getting paid a bit less per year. She's making six figures a month to act like a dog.
Wait, what is a month? I thought it was a year per year.
She's making 6 figures a month to act like a dog.
Holy
so
shit.
I would have to say...
Then yes, I'm definitely doing
you do
that.
it for like 6 months and you've paid for the rest of your fucking life, practically, Got student loans, act like a dog for a month. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I think we all would. I think there's there's an amazing number of people who saw that story and went, wait, how do I get in on this?
Yes. My timeline was full of people just getting quote tweeted and going, "Arf!"
Yeah. All just looking.
Just saying arf,
trying
arf.
to get in on that sweet puppy action.
Because the majority of the people I follow are females, and every single one... No.
You're right. You wouldn't be following furries, just furry artists who would, make the things you want to look at. You know what I mean?
Kinda?
I was just joking, but all right.
I mean, gas the furs? I guess that's technically something I want to see.
Anyway, yeah, well, I guess we both agree that's base, so there's no argument to be had there. We just talked about it. This is now a normal podcast. Welcome to
the normal.
Welcome to regular ass Twitter conversation between bros, the podcast. Bros in like the biggest scare quotes you can possibly find. Is there like a female equivalent of bros? Because obviously sisses is not a
sissy.
Sisters, but that's 2 syllables. We need a 1 syllable.
Sister.
Becoming a woman has been very confusing. There's a lot I have to adjust about my language. Lots of the cool things guys say.
It would probably be gals.
Yeah, gals. Okay, yeah. I don't remember the sentence that I have to reapply that word to. Just a couple gals having a conversation. Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'm feeling confident about this week. I don't think I'm going to have such a blowout as like I did last week. I don't think I'll have to drink so many shots.
All right. Now,
but we'll find out.
I heard there's one more argument.
Yeah. You heard?
That wanted to... Yeah, about the Twitter outing and the blacklisting and whatnot. I just got a phone call, and saying there's one more stance, and this is good because we can have Jack Dorsey to specifically target Europeans and keep them off Twitter. It's like, Twitter is like the biggest source of all fights that there are in the entire universe. Like,
that makes sense.
almost all problems, all arguments, and everything happen on Twitter.
I would say probably at this point, something like 85% of arguments are probably happening on Twitter.
Like, of the entire world. Just add up all the world's arguments, and almost all of it goes on Twitter. And,
And if it doesn't happen on Twitter, it will definitely get talked about on Twitter.
Yeah. What's it called? And the biggest thing I see all the time on Twitter is two people will have an argument, and they won't understand each other, and they'll use different definitions. You know what I like to call this?
Arguing with the
Europeans. If you just got rid of every single European off of Twitter, I will completely just tell you that there will actually be no arguments on Twitter. It would actually be a peaceful area.
Well, that sounds like the opposite of what Twitter would want.
It might be the opposite, but it's the only way. There's only one other group that would also
we're gonna have to
perpetuate
Twitter.
arguments.
We're gonna have to petition them to kick off the Europeans to save the world.
And the check marks.
Yeah, I mean, well, they already did that one. That was pretty sick.
And that's why. I don't know. I could go on more of a rant on Europeans.
I get the feeling you could go on a rant about them all day. But I think we've done all we need to here for this episode of Intolerable Threaded Twitter Argument, the podcast.
I don't think we have.
Not argument. Discussion? I can't remember.
TransTrenders.
That's right. The TransTrenders podcast. Fuck!
Because I win, bitch.
Well, this will be a great episode to be called the TransTrenders podcast. So, yeah. Vote for me.
And if you want, you could. I don't care. Just vote. Just go out there and vote.
This is literally
Hillary
1,000 times more important than the presidential election. There are far higher stakes. There are better people involved. Neither of us has raped anybody yet.
Yes, I was about to say that.
So,
none of us are pedophiles.
Yeah. So, vote for us.
And one last thing, you could suggest topics, and I'll put them on a wall and maybe consider them.
Strong possibilities.
It's a strong maybe.
Yeah. A big fucking maybe. All right, everybody. Suck my dick, fuck my ass, fuck butt, should have won.
Yeah! Bye! TransTrenders.